And as I say that, the numbers tick down. Game 29 of a 30-game tournament is on its way. For anybody watching this on YouTube after the stream, thank you for joining in. Thank you for the comments. I tried to reply to everybody as fast as possible. It really does warm my heart that I upload a video and within like the first hour or two, somebody's commented on it and given it a thumbs up. And thank you. That's all I can really say. I hope you enjoy the Factorio content. For this game and for the final, I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail. If there's anybody joining us on the stream right now that is new, that doesn't know what's going on, I am more than happy to answer questions. I'm not going to not explain what's going on, but I'd like to talk a little bit more about the granular detail about what's going on. Didn't expect to be here until after the rugby, but it's not worth watching. I am assuming, so I watched the first half. I'm not talking about the England game because that was just, that was a horror show. We didn't turn up. There were 15 people on the pitch that were wearing an England kit, and they played a version of rugby I've seen at school before, but it wasn't. That's not international rugby. And what's going on today in Wales? You know, I don't say this like I hate Wales and I love Wales, right? I hate it because they're very good at rugby. I hate the fact that at the moment they're not very good at it. But the Welsh, so the rugby landscape is better with a good Wales team in it, and it really hurts to watch them. 5, oh damn. It hurts me to watch a wounded animal get just flogged at the moment. So, like, my issue isn't with the players. They can only do as much as they can with the limited resources they have. There's like every day there's new controversy about the WRU. For me, I would literally detonate the board of members or whoever's involved in that, right? Just kick them out. They've done a shit job, basically. They haven't guaranteed a future generational expansion off the back of the Welsh team, and they've been on that board and in that environment for too long. Like, you can't be involved in something for that long and fuck it up and then turn around and say, oh yeah, no, we'll correct it. It takes years to get it wrong, and the instant solution is to just bin off whoever's involved. That genuinely is the only way to solve this. Here we go. So yeah, people are making the most of this mixed patch. They see potential. So potentially, and you know, arguably, maybe this mixed patch being so close to main and so massive in its resources, and we spoke about this in the pre-game. For anybody watching on YouTube, you won't get that. I'll just cut that bit out. But I think that whoever makes the most of this, considering how close it is to main base, pretty much gets an advantage. Yeah, and do you know what, mate? I remember a time where France were kind of a joke. I'm going to be honest. The trope was like, oh, we never know what kind of French team will turn up, right? They're either going to be silky smooth and run 10 tries in, or they'll drop the ball and get a red card and fight you. And I just, they've dropped that, you know, element to their game, and they're now just super professional, you know? And they've got some absolute superstars, like Dupont gets into every team. Oh, how good was the Italy game yesterday? I've seen that back twice now. I don't care about Ireland being poor. Like, Ireland should be better than that. Like, their players play 4 games a year for their club. They need to be on point when it comes to international games. But I'm so happy that Italy are not the punching bag they used to be. And I know I said I'd talk about detail in the game, but the game is just starting up, guys. We'll get into the details of it all. But I am so proud of Italy, mate. I'm so proud of them. They used to be a joke, and now you cannot not take them seriously. They have, and to see a front row, an Italian front row, bully British and Irish Lions, that was something to behold. Now you can be Irish and you can still respect them, because you know, to turn up and to do a job like that, that's not just like owning your opposition, that's dominating them. And it wasn't just a one-off thing where there was one big tackle and everyone's talking about it. Every scrum, every chance the Italians had, they just went for the jugular straight away. And in this game, just to round it back off to Factorio, whoever gets to the jugular of the opposition first, so for this game in context, that'll be through spamming, that'll be through building science and throwing it early, should hopefully win. You know, the way that I see this game playing itself out is we see an opening phase of about 15-20 minutes where both teams will build up their bases. Sorry. And then beyond that, it's about pure aggression, which is why this mix patch being here, being so close to main, is so important. There are millions of iron, millions of copper and coal, and stone too, and if you can optimize this and use this and utilize this for spam effectively. So I don't think we'll see red spam. Okay, the South aren't researching anything right now. That's kind of scary. And bearing in mind, guys, both Arctic on the north and Pipes on the south, they're playing for a chance to be in the final next week. This is the 29th game of a 30-game tournament, right? So either of these captains, Pipes and Arctic, they've played lots and lots of captains games to get to this point. So you are tantalizingly close to winning the whole thing, and you are tantalizingly close to being binned off before you get the chance to put your hands on the trophy. So yeah, this is do or die. I think we're going to see a very ruthless, very ruthless part of game that we have in front of us right now, due to in part of making it to the final. The person that will meet them in that grand final, I believe, is Clutch. Or is it Jimmy? I need to check this. I haven't seen the bracket in like 24 hours, but I believe either Clutch or Jimmy are already in the final. So, like, whoever wins today, that's it. You know, good luck on next week. And it's anybody's game, man. It's anybody's game. But to get to this point, you have to give everybody some props, man. Like, this has been a rough tournament. You know, these are the best of the best. And they could potentially go on to cement their legacy. You know, who knows? One of these captains could be a future Ghosty. They may earn themselves a sliver of my bragging rights to say that they are the guy, they are the player, you know, man of the moment, man of the hour. I mean, probably not. I mean, you know, they play okay. I mean, there's still some things. I watch the VODs back every now and again, and I do spot some inconsistencies in the playstyles. But today, as it stands, 2026, it's February the 15th, one day after Valentine's Day. We're on to game 29 of a 30-game tournament, and somebody next week, the next game of this that's played, will cement themselves in history as a tournament-winning captain. And it's not about me, because my legacy was cemented years ago as the best player that's ever played this game and that probably ever will play this game. So it's not about me being, obviously, a legend and humble. And obviously, you guys all know this. If I was playing in the tournament, I'd have already won it by now. So, you know, with a game in hand for next week, people who have already handed me the trophy saying, you know what, it's not even close. So, and remember as well, for any of you younger players out there, or maybe egocentric players out there who might think that, you know, I'm taking things a little too far, you've got to be humble. You know, the last thing you want to do is have somebody kind of wax lyrically about how amazing they are all the time. You've got to bring some humbleness to it, you know. You can be a legend and also be legendarily humble about how legendary you are. So, yeah, but it's nice to see that we have a thriving player base that are more than happy to be competitive. Like, there was a time in the game where people just kind of wanted to play for fun, and there's nothing wrong with playing for fun, by the way, but I like that once in a blue moon, somebody will go, hey man, we haven't had a tournament in a while, and we rise to that challenge. You know, I like the fact that, you know, here it is on a 15th of February in 2026, and we have over 40 people playing a competitive game, right? And next week will be even more to see, you know, to see if you're on the winning team, to help the winning captain. And you got to remember as well, guys, the players that are in each of these games, so, you know, like the winning side, be it North or South, you kind of get bragging rights for the year as well, because you were a part of that effort. You know, if Pipes wins the entire tournament, you were part of helping Pipes get over the line. So in a way, you kind of establish yourself as a dominant player. So although the captains themselves have, you know, the ultimate bragging rights of saying, look, I won the whole thing, you know, playing 10 games and winning all 10, you know, the people that they picked, it says a lot about them. You know, if you pick Blitzy in a final and Blitzy doesn't get power right, and you lose because Blitzy made a massive mistake because he was too busy looking after his new cat, which is adorable, by the way. And I will bring up Blitzy. Blitzy, if anybody doesn't know, the cat distribution system has picked Blitzy to be a new cat owner. and so they're learning the ropes, effectively, of how to gain the affection of a new feline friend. In fact, let me just pull up I think it's here somewhere. 1 second. Here we go. This is Blitzy's new. This is Blitzy's new owner. And we love them. And we love them for it. So, yeah, you don't want to be the person responsible for making the killer mistake. And you also kind of want to be the person that does dig your team out, you know, that gets the victory. So, everybody's playing here for a stake in history. At the end of this tournament, there will be a winning team with a set of winning players. And the next time they play, yeah, 0 brain cells. I know, right? Mine's a tuxedo cat. So I don't know what that says about me, but they're very aloof and very hungry all the time. Cranky and hungry, but he's old, so I don't blame him. But I have seen the memes. Orange cats are like the goofiest of goofy. So yeah, we can tell by your accent you're posh. How dare you? How very dare you, blood? Wagwan, brethren. Oh, mate, I'm not even going to pretend. Although, one thing I would say, a bit of ghosty trivia for you, English isn't my first language. So I actually speak like this because of watching foreign, like the BBC, foreign news stuff when I was growing up abroad. So English actually is my third spoken language. Although today and for most of my life, it's been the most spoken language because it's just the most accessible. So yeah, my initial opening language, very different to this. And then my second, I don't speak at all anymore, unfortunately, which is a shame because being trilingual has lots of benefits to it. If somebody's slagging you off in the gym, you kind of know. You know, if you're in a kebab house and somebody's giving you shit, you're like, oh, I fucking know what you're saying about me, mate. So yeah, but I speak like, somebody called me AI. I was playing Hell Let Loose a couple of weeks ago. And I was squad leader just because I wanted to kind of like run a particular way of playing the game. I wanted to like run a defensive squad. And somebody said I sounded like ChatGPT, you know, one of those like robotic voices, like, today in the news. Oh, God. You can't win, can you, sometimes? Although I think, if I'm trying to put a positive spin on it, I think that, Clyde, I did. And it was a tough watch, I'm going to be honest. I don't know why, but, like, Scotland can play terribly for 11 months of the year. And then for like when they play England, they turn into like the 2015 All Blacks. I don't know what it is. I swear they put Braveheart on. You know, like all the TV screens in the change room is just a guy with blue face paint going, freedom, fuck the English. So, you know what? Fair enough. So, sorry, akin to my point, yeah, I think it's good for streaming. The one thing I have had feedback on, I've had to mess around with my mic a little bit. Initially, I had like lots of gain on it and stuff, but I think that the way that I am and the way that I speak benefits people who aren't native English speakers. So a couple of my DMs and a couple of my comments on YouTube are that although the person watching isn't English themselves, they know a bit of English, they understand it, and because I don't talk like, I guess, with an accent or like a heavy like regional accent, it's easy for them to listen to. So that's one benefit, I guess, of being posh, obviously. No beating the allegations, damn. So yeah, sorry, back to your point, Clyde. I haven't seen the end of the France game. I can imagine there's a massacre going on in the Millennium Stadium right now, Principality, whatever you want to call it. I cannot wait for the day where Wales start beating teams again. It will be a long time for that to happen. Nobody wants to see a wounded Welsh team. I delight in messaging my Welsh friends that Wales should be relegated and Georgia should be taken into the Six Nations, but at this moment in time, I can't do it. I can't do it to them. Yeah, I just, it annoys me. No, it doesn't. It's not their fault. That's the one thing you can never level not trying hard, right? If you get picked to play a sport like that for your country, you're in. It's not football where you can kind of go, oh, I'd rather play for my club. I'd rather play for Chelsea rather than play for England because I get paid more and, you know, like they're trying their fucking hardest. But unfortunately today, against a team like France, the sword is what you'll be put to. And France, I mean, they kind of need to, if they're going to be cementing any kind of legacy in the rugby world, you know, and not be known as the sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't team, unfortunately today will be a bit of a spanking. I think they're going to pull Wales's pants down and unfortunately slap some cheeks. That being said though, you know, it happens and you get humbled sometimes. You know, rugby is a kind of game where you don't get to be bigger than the game, you know. Every now and again, somebody bigger than you, somebody more vicious than you, somebody more kind of imposing will turn up, and you need to find a way around that. So, yeah. Also, do we know what language this is? Is this Russian? I don't want to Google translate this stuff, but I'm hoping none of this is particularly aggressive or. Do you know what I mean? Like, I always worry that like somebody will be typing something in game and then swear or say something racist that I can't obviously translate, and then YouTube's like, how about that? Time to get banned. It's a shame, but you know, I've been on teams and I've coached teams, I've played on teams where you go through a couple of years where it's the dark days, But those bonds that you make in that darkness and the humor that you build in the adversity, when you start winning, it almost makes it a little bit more special, because you were around when you were getting literally bullied, 80 points to 0, where your props literally don't want to scrum because they know what's going to happen. They know they're going to get folded up. And then when you end up in a team where things start to develop and you change and you get on the upper hand, it's special. That's sport, as well as esports. Love an underdog story, and they love a comeback story, and I cannot wait for the day where I am on stream talking about Wales having beaten England in the Six Nations, and I'm really upset and I'm moulding, because I'll be upset, but in a small way I'll be happy for them too, because they deserve it, man. Like, Wales don't have a lot going for them, right? Football team's not that great. I don't really know. I know they've had some really good boxers come out of Wales in terms of, like, they have individual athletes, but their Welsh team is like their pride and joy. And to watch a group of grown men, big physical specimens, get bullied around because their governmental body hasn't set them up for success effectively, and stripped out the local game, the club game, is a shocker to me. Dowie Lake is a fantastic player. Adam Beard, fantastic player. Josh Adams, I fucking hate the guy, but he's a good winger for Wales. He's gritty. He's annoying to play against. What was his name? The Seven. He's not in at the moment. He went on the Lions tour. Jack Morgan. Mate, Jack Morgan walks into the England team tomorrow. If he all of a sudden decided somehow that he was an English player or a French player, he would make that team in a heartbeat. They have the potential to keep... Mate, Louis Samet could be playing in the NFL right now. I know it's not happening, and lots of ifs, buts, and maybes, but, like, they have the potential there. They have the athletes. They have the specimens. Is this guy playing? Is this guy spectating? Q. Oh my god, I know. They're losing a regional team too. There's some kind of, like, weird... I don't know a huge amount about it, but I think there's some, like, consortium that's bought up a load of Welsh teams, and it's all owned by, like, Hollywood people. I don't know, dude. It sounds really dodgy to me. Like, if I was a town, if I was Llandovery, right, or Penarth, I'd be like, fuck that. Why don't we just crowdfund this shit? Why doesn't every single person own a share of this club? Why won't we all put like a tenner in each, or 20 quid in each, and we buy the club ourselves and we run the club ourselves, and the club is run by people rather than it being stripped out for assets and portioned up and sold off. Why don't we try and own this thing and make it work for us? Easier said than done, obviously, and that's obviously a pipe dream, but I think that it'll probably serve the community better than some consortium go, yeah, the stadium's worth this much, the team's worth this much. We're not investing. We are literally here to just melt this thing down and start again. Yeah, you're right, dude. Money must grow. The factory must grow. Profits must grow. Yeah. And do you know what, mate? They have some mutants in the NFL. Absolute mutants. So you are right. He had a slim chance to be... Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. I'm wandering. I'm meandering conversationally around. It's because, mate, it's my favourite time of the year. Rugby being on at the beginning of the year always brightens my day a little bit. Also, if we have any Russian speakers, can anybody translate this stuff for me? I just want to make sure that this guy isn't arguing with people or being an arsehole. Like, I'm not saying they are, but it's hard to tell. And he keeps saying the same thing. Like, I'm seeing the same 30... Is he saying 30 minutes? I don't know. But yeah, if anybody knows Cyrillic or can figure out how to translate that, I would welcome it. He's saying Ghosty's washed. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. If there's any way, I think you can get, like, Google Lens or something. I might try and see if I can copy and paste it, because that stuff should be in the chat logs. We don't have it often, but every now and again, somebody will join the game and they just start kicking off for no reason, or they'll say something very spicy, divisive, a lot of the time racist. Don't do that. Just don't do that. Be better than that. And remember, guys, it's a tournament game. It's the end of a tournament. Everybody here is playing as hard as they can, as fast as they can. So anybody trying to distract or kind of, bait people, it's just, not good. Bear with me on that one, mate, Clyde. I'll see if I can get a copy of it, because it'll take a second to Google Translate. And I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure it's absolutely nothing, and it's fine. Meanwhile, inappropriate. Sorry, I did get your message there. Am I able to tell what the opposing threat is? So the South are on minus 1700, almost 1800 now, and the North are at minus 170. So I believe the North are, building up a base first, and the South instead are just running at the problem. On easy difficulty as well, I think we should see a couple of spam. Here we go. Military spam from Sticklord. And I mean, yeah, here we go. Look, they're making the most of this. Again, sushi smelting. We spoke about this at the beginning of the game, but yeah, these mixed patches are definitely a weapon. There's weaponry here amongst all of this chaos. And how we filter it and how we organize it and how we smelt with it is the most important part. So, yes, they do. They do. So the threat itself up here on the top is always known. Oh, first death of the... Oh, guys. Sorry, press F in chat to pay respects, guys. The first death of the 29th game is Heptadecagon. One hell of a name, by the way. Yeah, so both teams can see the threat. However, both teams don't have access to the vision that we have. So as a spectator, we kind of see everything. Each player has like a bubble of vision around them, whereas the North will only see so much. Nades are not a fish. God damn. Never a truer word has been said. And as I say that, let's just quickly pull up the chat logs and just do some translation. I'm sure that there's nothing here happening. Here we go. Oh no, I know what's happened here. We haven't got Cyrillic programmed into our chatbot, so we can't read back the chat. I'll do some post-game analysis of this. I'm sure it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, the guy it appears to me, and again, I don't know Cyrillic, but he appears to be asking the same question, so he might literally be a new player asking what's going on. And if that's the case, that's fine. You know, we don't have an issue with Russians being here. We don't have an issue with Polish, Lithuanians, Latvians. It's obviously a very different language, and maybe not everybody speaks it, but we can find a way to translate, you know? We can find a way to talk to you. It's not as if it's impossible. Unfortunately, the only Russian that I know is swearing, and it's from Counter-Strike. So about 4,000 hours of playing at GE. Unfortunately, you know, drop AVP, noob. Give me AVP. I want AWAP. Give me AWAP, noob. And all the appropriate swearing that goes along with that as well. We all know it. You all know what I'm talking about. Even if you haven't played Counter-Strike, you know the insults. We've heard them before. And I'm not going to repeat them here, because they are egregious. 37 military jugs from Sticklord fly from the south across to the north and jump the North's evolution up to 9.5%. The race has begun. At 22 minutes in, the first shot has happened. And it's around about the time I predicted, around about the 15-20 minute mark into the game. The first send has happened. So, yep, pretty much similar timings for red and for green, and similar amounts of production and consumption. So that's just our basic research, moving us into these later game sciences. And 20 minutes in, 70 jugs have been built, and as we saw just then, 37 have been thrown by Sticklords. So yeah, I mean, on the easy difficulty, you've got to be quick with it, you know? We're not going to get to purple science, or if we do, no, we don't. Surely we don't get to purple science. This is going to be a rush off the map, right? Although as a captain, you may need to prep for something beyond this. You know, if I'm captaining north or south, and look at this, how interesting is that? We have a kind of a mirrored build here. This is very unique. So again, you know, the mixed patch is huge, and people are making the most of it. And both north and south have got, I guess, the same idea. The south have managed to reach the completion of their idea quicker than the north. There's more people working on this, of course. So obviously more hands can solve the problem, but and it is mixed as well. I think the nades are going to be potentially, yeah. Actually, that's a fair point. You know, going nade tech, because we're not going to see. Okay, let's check the research real quick, because the way I read this, we're not going to go too deep into our military research, and we're certainly not going to go for shooting speed. So potentially going for like stronger explosives, meaning that we are going to be defending later. So that instead of, you know, using our guns to farm the bugs as they kind of grow in strength and size, they placed E-miners on only coal. Really? Wait, on north or south? Oh, here we go. The first wave has managed to make it very close to main. Stupidly close to main. Come on, guys. This is too early for this. The bugs are too weak and they should not be biting walls down so close to your silo. Another wave comes in and there's power. Has anybody spotted this? a third wave comes in and starts chewing up some bits. Now, again, these bugs are super weak and very easy to deal with, but yeah, guys, this is main base. This is far, far too close for them to be. And as weak as they... Oh, no. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Have we... Is this... No way. Guys, that is genuinely scary. This should not be happening. That would have been... this is not champion... That you're very, very right, Cognitive. This is not championship level. Can you imagine a semi-final being decided by some bugs just running straight to the silo? Like at 9% strength. Because yesterday's game was a banger. Most of the games in the tournament, to be fair, have been bangers. There's been one, I think, which was a slight... There was a slight slip up at the end, where the rocket parts were kind of all clogged up on a belt, and that kind of fucked the team over of a win. But most of the games, I want to say, have been well organised and you know, played out to their max potential. That was honestly scary, mate. And you know what, if I'm on North now, I would try my best to get a repair pack onto that. You know, it's an insult to the way that we play the game that our silo has any of its health taken off of it at this point in the game. Yeah, I think sending is the mood of today's game. I just don't know how far we go into our spam. So, like, Military Science has a... Oh, yeah, gambling. Sorry, mate. Good. Thank you for the reminder. Let me put a prediction up. Just as we almost saw the game end early. I'll just quickly focus on these guys whilst I set up that prediction. Yeah, that would have been wounding, wouldn't it? For a game to just be over that fast. All right, let's do this. Who wins, North or South? You've got 30 minutes to bet your channel points on it. I think by the time this prediction is over, the game will probably be over. So good luck, everybody, voting for your channel points. It's pretty even. The North are dealing with 16% bugs. 16% is not game ending. It's certainly not, you know, complete GGs. I think they just got caught a little short. Nobody was expecting a group of bugs to make it this deep, and obviously they did. And if you allow them to, they will get here. But yeah. So back to spam. Military spam will happen, and I'm not entirely sure if we go much further than that. Here we go. Sticklord sends 147 jogs over. The bugs are now at 21%, so they should evolve up into medium-sized bugs very soon. And so the North, they've got some problems to deal with here. My worry is there any counterplay to this? Enkling speaking in alien language, it seems. Kenapa Ingris. He's obviously... So here we have Enkling is casting spells. Is this allowed? Are we allowed wizardry in chat? Obviously that's Malaysian. Or Filipino. It's hard to tell the difference. And sorry if that sounds racist, but I don't know all the languages. Only a few of them. So... Obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, Enkling it's currently Monday morning where Enkling is, at like 5 in the morning, and he still somehow manages to tune in and play these games, which is mental, honestly. It's a testament to his wanting to be part of the game, and why you want KillNet. Here we go. So yeah, I worry. So, okay, the North, what are we up to here? Power block going down, very useful, very needed, very necessary. Arctic is getting more iron patches hooked into their system. Main base has an enormous amount of oils processing, so they're going for blue, I think. It's a good question. I don't know if they do, dude. I really don't know if they do. I mean, bullets for now should be enough. Grenades, I mean, it will take more grenades than you want to be throwing, so instead of like a single grenade killing off the bugs, you're going to need 2 or 3. But 20% isn't unmanageable. My worry here is that the South aren't receiving any pain back. So that the South are sending over problems to the North, and the North are having to absorb them. And obviously Zero Sun is a very good threat farmer, so, you know, he's kind of collecting up the bugs in waves. And obviously at this stage of the game, the bugs aren't that strong. Although we see here the medium bug, he takes more than a single grenade to kill. So, you know, in terms of cost, it's now more costly to fight the bugs. But a 1400 threat with a car, with some grenades, Zero Sun on the job, with hopefully somebody else helping out down the line, yeah, I think they'll manage this. But here we see now 24%, so the temperature of the game for the North is rising, and I worry that if they don't throw a counterpunch, Like, the south will just be allowed to run the north off the pitch by just sending little bits of military. And again, we're not talking about thousands here, right? Let's just check, see what's been thrown. 30, 80, 20, 140, 100. So we're not talking about like thousands of jugs being sent, you know. It's a few hundred at a time, if that. So again, like, where is the counterplay for the north? Are they going to send back, or are they going to weather this and progress their research into deeper techs, and then potentially throw blue signs or more? It would be wild if this got to purple. I'd be very worried if this game goes to purple. Oh, I mean, you know, wakey wakey, guys. The bugs are at the door. They're in our base. And soon, if they decide to chew our base will be no more. And I didn't mean to rhyme that, but I'm obviously a lyrical genius, so I did. And Clutch here, as a fantastic captain, has all the things he needs at hand. Got a couple grenades. His pistol won't really be much use against these purple bugs. And as we can see now, at 24%, it's dangerous, dude. Like, they're making their way in. Now, manageable, definitely. And if people start fighting this, so obviously we need whoever is up here and close to the bugs to come over and shoot them and blow them up. But yeah, this is the ever-loving part of the game that we love and also hate. We want to keep our base alive long enough to research deep enough that we can beat the enemy. However, the enemy have pushed the bugs to a point where the enemy bugs can now kill our base off, stopping us from researching. It's good that they have grenade production. That's one thing. So if Clutch came over here and didn't have a grenade for the pack, for instance, whoever's defending this area now, doesn't have a grenade for this pack is a problem for them. And again, you can grenade, kill the buildings if you have to. You know, these miners are replaceable. What isn't replaceable is if you die, they will just tear through all of this. And at 24%, these bugs are strong enough to start ripping things down. So Arctic, obviously, as the captain of the North, has a really good handle on what's going on and is absolutely smashing it in terms of defending these bugs. However, yeah, we need to make sure that whoever's in main base is on the ball. We cannot allow anybody to drop the ball and allow the bugs to push up. The next evolutionary step for the bugs is 50%. So when they hit 20, they go from brown to purple shells. Then 20 to 50, they go from purple to blue shells. And 50 to 90. So 90 is the last evolutionary step. We saw that yesterday. They turn into behemoths where they're big and green. And they're big, green, and mean. And they're very difficult to deal with. Almost impossible beyond 100%. So yeah, Zero Sun doing what they can. Threat farming down well, to be fair, you know. It was about 1800 threat about a minute or two ago. Now we're looking at 740. So on their own, and again, you'd hope down the line other people help. You know, Zero Sun will be able to manage the threat into the negative. But, you know, negative threat, it's kind of where you want to be. And my question here now, again, is that the North are just being sent. Oh no, the main character has gone down. Here lies Blitzy. They tried their best, but the bugs succeeded and overwhelmed them with their bitiness. And as I say that, a pack begins to aggress towards... Oh, but Just Bob catches it. Perfect. Only with a pistol and some walls, though. No grenades at hand. He's managing to juggle the bugs, but bug juggling isn't going to kind of win you the game here. We need the stuff required to blow these guys up. Take them off the board. Just a tactical teleport. I like it. Okay, here we go. So yeah, somebody's appeared with some grenades and they're solving that problem. That's good to see. What worries me here is like, yeah, where are the North going with this? Are we just with impunity, just progressing on? You know, we've got oil, or it seems like petroleum, like creation. Yeah, they're... okay, so they have a second... Okay, perfect. They've added somebody into their defensive effort. That's good. Zero Sun, and they're almost at 30%. This is kind of starting to spiral a little bit for the North now. I'm not too sure where their play is here. Soldiers asked for another threat farmer. That's definitely a good idea. If I'm being honest, I would take, like, Alistair, I'd take Marek. I would grab another person. Like, we've got Dawid, so I'd take Dawid, Alistair, Marek, and Zero. I'd say, guys, just be that team. You know, go and be our offensive team. Go up here and fight them, because at the moment, bugs coming into our build stops us from building, slows us down. And we can stick a load of stone furnaces in the way, but at the end of the day, we need somebody to be proactive in the fight against the bugs. I've looked north a lot now. Let's take a quick... I know that they've got some problems, but I'm hoping that they have enough skill to deal with these problems. So I don't want to scan away and miss what's going on. But yeah, let's take a look south. Where are they going with this? So they've got grenade production. They are building, it looks like, a small car production down here too. So they certainly want to keep threat farming. The smelting stack here is looking beautiful. Very nice build, very compact. Another death. Heptadecagon goes down again. Jeez, guys. But they have some element of defensive build out here. Sticklord continues on with the spam as well. And we've got, it looks to me like another spam outpost. So the south have gone all in. I think I've seen 3, right? Sticklords. There is going to be some spam over in this direction. Oh, no, chip building. Interesting. So the south are not only prepping for a quick early game win in the form of this early game spam, they're also prepping some late game stuff here too. This is smart. You know, you need to be doing this. If you this initial like game plan doesn't work for you, doesn't win, you need to have a counter. You know, you need a second order of playing. And yeah, moving towards purple. I don't know if they'll get there though. At the moment, this early sending of military science is really working for them. You know, at 36%, it's more than enough to create a problem for the north that they can't handle. And again, once the bugs hit 50, and they're not far from hitting 50% evolved, the whole game flips. Everything changes. Now, credit to the northern threat farmers, they're carrying on. You know, there's 5 of them up here. Soldier, Alistair, Holm, H-Man, Zirasun and Marek, so they're doing a good job. But how long can this go on for before you throw a punch? What do the north need to do to gain control? At the moment, let's take a look at research actually. That's a good indicator as to where they're going. So the north have a lot, and I mean a lot, of research under their belt. This is all unique to the north. This is what they have done. And they're moving towards tool belts, research modules and prods, and the south are going. So have the south gone all in? Yeah, they need to spread effectively. So if I'm north and I'm looking at my threat farming kind of landscape at the moment, where would I go? What would I need to look at? So there are a couple of obvious, things we need to take a look at. For instance, we know for sure. Oh, let's get rid of this. I don't need that button. I need this. We know for sure the bugs will aggress towards us, so they're going to come down the map for sure. If I'm the north and I want to spread myself out, I'd position people, I'd station people at kind of these areas. I wouldn't have them shoulder to shoulder, right? I'd have gaps in between. And effectively, as a defensive player, your area of defense would be like this, So your job in your car is to just loop and patrol these areas, right? And with the idea, hopefully, that if another wave comes past that, so let's say you're the furthest left-hand, so you're this guy here on the left, you also are to drop back. So as a defender in football or soccer, it's football, mate. You have a foot and you kick a ball. How many times do they kick in American football, by the way? Like 10 times a game? They should not be calling it football. Sorry, mini rant aside. You can't call a game football if you barely kick the ball. Anyway, so if you're on this furthest left flank or furthest right flank, your job, your designated role is if a wave goes past these areas, you drop. Everybody else stays up and fights forward and continues their threat farm. And if anything makes it past into these areas around the edges, your job is to sweep that. So, yeah, some slight defensive changes there. It doesn't have to happen, but that's how I'd organize the north. 2 in the middle, 2 out the edges, and pray that there's no bugs like hiding around here that takes like 30 seconds to drive towards to kill. Keep everything local, keep everything in and around your area, force them to focus onto you, and that stops them from driving down the map. Meanwhile, though, the south, these guys are having a great time. These bugs are 7%. You could probably run them over, or you can get run over by them. Well, that wasn't long. I have oh god, I'll say I have an uncanny knack of zooming in on the worst possible thing at the perfect moment. And I think that's a great. So here lies Cogito and his car. I was going to say they have it easy. I was literally about to say the South have got 7% bugs. These things are easy to kill, and then they just go ahead and just murder Cogito in front of all of us. So if I had a choice. If I had to choose which side to be on right now, I'd rather be on the south for sure. Their bugs are easy to kill. They're driving their threat into the negative. Their team appear to have a handle. They're certainly in the driving seat when it comes to pushing the pressure. So the south are turning up the temperature on the north. We like to see this. This is exactly how a game of Bite Battles should go. What are the north doing? No, sorry, I know what the north are doing. I don't say that as a rhetorical question. It's infuriating that there isn't one person on the north, one individual base, like these guys out here. I'm not saying it needs to be these guys, but like somebody with 23 people on your team, get one person to be a goblin and just say, hey, Clutch, mate, I know that we need more people building stuff, and I know that we need more people doing bits, but like, I need you to be a science goblin, and I need you to be the person that throws the south to like 15%, 20%. Somebody do that for me. Another guys, southern players are dying a lot. Oh damn, the defensive outpost has been hit. This is important. This is a big deal. You can't lose this outpost. You cannot lose the production it has for you. And as I say that, the bugs are starting to get a little bit too tanky, right? Oh damn, another death. Oh, here we go. Nice. So yeah, I worry for the North's lack of aggression. The bugs won't stop coming. The aggression from the opposition team won't stop coming. And by not having it, you're basically staring down the barrel of a gun, knowing that you can load up a larger round, hoping the gun doesn't go off in your face. And it's such a risky play to make. I think it's unnecessary. It's bold. I give him that. It is a bold play to say, I don't care about their aggression. I don't care about them pushing us to 50%. Hell, they can push us to 90. We'll win the game. What you're doing is you're putting your threat farmers under way too much pressure. You're asking so much from a group of people that from the word go, there's no let off. It's unrelenting pressure. And they have the right people to do the job, right? They have the soldier, they have Zero Sun, they have people up here that will do that job. But I'm just saying, right, you could make it like 10% less painful for your team by putting some pressure on the enemy. Feel free to message me long breakdowns about how you think I'm wrong. I'm happy to debate this stuff in Discord with you. I'm not saying I'm right, but my take on this game, how I would play this game, is vastly different to the way the North are. Now again, it's not my tournament run, it's not my game to play. I have the lucky armchair kind of commentator space where I can say what I want and it doesn't impact me, but I have captained these games, I've been in these games before, and there are some deviations I'd make. That's all I'm saying. Deviations I'd make. So it's not a critique as you as an individual. If you're watching this back as the captain, please don't think that I'm critiquing your plan. I just think that there's some value in being a bit more aggressive. And it wouldn't slow down your building in main. I don't think that you would be stopped from making this play. If anything, this wouldn't be affected at all if there was one little goblin outpost off to the side. And in fact, maybe we need to have an Orcs and Goblins meta. Maybe we need to have a couple of some science goblins that literally just create green jugs the whole game. Oh, Pavev goes down. That's very close to main. Now, to be fair to the North, they do have some people reacting to the threat coming in. So that what's good is that they're not passively getting beaten up and then rebuilding. They're making it to the issues. And we've seen this in the past in previous games where a wave will be here and almost everybody in main goes, yeah, not my problem. I'm doing coal over here. I'm making power. I don't have to deal with that. If you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. If you don't handle it, trust me, it will handle you. And we saw beforehand a wave of maybe a tenth of this size get on top of their silo, and their silo has still not been repaired. That is horrific. And yeah, guys, are we just letting this happen? This might be a really, I don't know, guys. Are we still waking up? Do we need to have a coffee? Do we need to sober ourselves up a little bit here? It's a tournament game, guys. Game 29. I'm nervous for the North. I'm very nervous for them. Again, it's not GG unless you don't react correctly, but this is an area of issue. You need to station some people out here, put some turrets down, bring some walls, bring some radars. At 47%, I do believe as well that this is more than manageable. As a group, as a player base, we have managed this 10 times, the strength of the bugs in this area. But for some strange reason, I don't know why, we seem to be continuing to build with impunity. We have no aggressive element to our game. If I'm correct, and I might be wrong, so let me double check. I don't think the North have sent anything. Yeah, clean. A completely clean game from the North. And you're right. You're right. A couple of percent, and that's it. Clyde, good question. I don't So sometimes there's like a special game. Somebody might run a special game. I think I'm going to keep streaming. I don't know, like I might play something. I've spent most of the weekend watching stuff. I haven't really gotten any video games under my belt, if that makes any sense. Like I haven't really gamed at all, so I think after this stream, I'm going to play something. That'll either be the Mega Base. Oh, damn. Yeah, guys, this eastern area is an absolute nightmare for them. Like, I don't know what we do here. I think we need to station somebody out here. Genuine. Like, I think we need a security guard for this area, because the bugs are coming in for free. They're walking in. Yeah, there's no tournament match after this. So once this game is completed, I believe the next game that we'll be on will be the final, and that will be next week at some stage. It should all be in Discord. Just Bob Goes Down. That's scarily close to their power block. That's scarily close to main. Arctic has got... I mean, if the North win this, it's because of their reaction. You know, they're defending by motion rather than physical defenses. And I spoke about this yesterday. And I think I made a relatively salient point. I need to go back and watch it back. But somebody was asking me about what the best kind of defense is. If you're not sticking down a wall, how do you defend? And it's with movement and motion. You know, your physical movement of it towards the bugs, your motion around the bugs. Oh, damn. It's just not stopping, and we are 0.7% away from the bugs evolving one stage higher than this. If you thought this was a problem, and you thought the bugs coming in here was a problem, they're going to be blue shells very soon, and those blue shells are a little bit worse. So yeah, this is buckle up, guys. All I'm saying, if the North win this, they have ridden the fucking roller coaster of pain. They are currently riding the roller coaster of pain, you know. If a voice channel could be on fire right now, the North voice comms must be just. The bugs are here, I need help. Somebody bring grenades. Like, we're losing power block. We've just lost the defensive base. And there we go, Marek says it. Medium with no defenses is a problem. And again, these are the small bugs, the brown shell bugs, will cease to exist. We'll now see pretty much exclusively purple shells with a couple of big blue boys mixed in too. And again, another wave makes it all the way down to the edge of our base. The guys are dealing well with this. I talk about this in a negative, that like they're doing everything they can to stay alive, to keep floating in shark-infested waters and surviving. But with these big blue boys, as you can see now, a couple of grenades are barely scratching the surface. The North have got their work cut out for them. This is not an easy task. And I just wonder. I guess we carry on, right? I mean, the North are carrying on. We'll carry on with the cast. I'm just trying to rack my brain as to wonder where they're going. Are they going, like, okay? Whoa, let's flip it on its head. Let's look for a positive. We'll watch them defend this wave, and I'll try and find a positive out of this. Let's say the North somehow make, I don't know, like purple, right? They get to purple and they make 100 jugs. Does that really flip the script? No, 100 doesn't. Like 500 maybe? Like where are we going with this? 500 kind of puts you in the driving seat. So we're looking at about 1,000, right? You need about 1,000 purple to win this game. Or, sorry, not to win the game, but to gain some kind of ascendancy, right? I don't think 1,000 even does it. No, it doesn't. So if 1,000 purple jugs doesn't get you to behemoths, are we seriously going to get to yellow on an easy mode game? It shouldn't be that way, should it? I mean, I guess in Carl we trust, right? I mean, it's obviously Arctic's game, but it seems to me like Carl is driving the main base building, right? So this is all obviously ratioed. This is all well organized and well thought out and mathed out build. Let's look at their research. Let's see where they're going. I worry for the North here now. So flammables and flamer turrets. Okay, I guess we could build some fire turrets, right? I mean, we're not going to get to... Surely we don't get to lasers. So any level of defense. What I like now here, as we can see, our threat farmers are spreading themselves out. We spoke about this about 10-15 minutes ago. You just need to cover more ground, right? If this area here is constantly under attack by bugs, you need to float somebody above that can drop back. And the same way with Hullum and the rest of these threat farmers, right? I would almost argue that with a 23-person team, if we're not building spam, then some of these people out on the edges here... okay, yeah, power's important. We need to keep this person doing this job. Meow... Ooh, oh my god. Ragnarok. I'm 90. Tell me this is Ragnarok. This is definitely Rag, isn't it? Uwu Meow Fables. Okay. This player, who's definitely not a Smurf, could potentially be adding in. Okay, power building, that's good too. Okay, so there's nobody going rogue. That's kind of interesting. Normally there's kind of like a little bit of a rogue element to the game, but yeah, I guess so far so good, right? We like what we see so far. Although, you know, my big question is this. It's going along good. Oh my god, please don't. Nobody clip that. Please, nobody clip that. So here's my question to all of you. And by the way, if there's anybody new that's watching that isn't aware of what's going on, I'm happy to field questions too. We do go through a lot of technical detail in this, but we are at the back end of a tournament, so I'm trying not to do the super simple explainer stuff. But I can do, to be fair. My question is to you, all of you who are out there that are in the game at the moment or watching this, having played this game before, at what point is it untenable in the north to continue defending like this with no physical defenses? We're at 53% now. Obviously 100 to 150% is absolute madness. We're not going to be able to do that, but at some point there's a line in the sand where we can no longer defend, and I believe that we are closing in on that line. The bugs will basically one-tap our vehicle if they get close. Yes, we have poison capsules, that's great, and we'll be able to farm the bugs as much as we can doing this. However, and this is my big question to you as a group, is, you know, 70%, 75%. If in the next 20 minutes time the north are pushed to a breaking point, then they need something down, right? We've seen them research a little bit towards flame towers. Flamers are more than enough to deal with, you know, a decently thick wall and a couple of flame towers behind it can deal with behemoths easily. But if the north want to kind of build with impunity and push into the late game and leave themselves exposed, by the way, for anybody watching that doesn't know what's going on, the north are basically in a boxing match and they're not defending themselves. They are being beaten up. They're not playing defense. They're also not playing attack either. So they've entered a boxing ring, effectively. They're ready for a fight. There are 23 people on their team, and they're against a team of 23 on the south. The south's team are defending, they're punching, they're moving, they're agile. Their playstyle is fitting of a winning playstyle at the moment because they are fighting. They're in a fight, right? They're doing what they should do to win a fight. The north are in a boxing ring, and they're agile. I'll give them that. They are moving and they are creating movement. So they're being agile and they're teching into endgame stuff that they shouldn't be allowed to. You know, they've entered a street fight with a pocket watch. You know, they've entered a street fight with a calculator, and I just don't know if that's a winning strategy. Like, it can, and I'm sure Carl has done the maths. By the way, Carl is no idiot, right? If he's been told to build main base and to win a game, he has the ability to do that, right? So this person is an incredibly skilled Factorio player, and I'm sure they've run the numbers and done the maths. I worry for them, right? They're close, if not almost guaranteed to take pain. There is nobody here ready for this. There is nobody here with any tool available to them to stop this from happening. They are going to lose this iron patch, which means they're going to have to rebuild this iron patch, which means that somebody who should be doing a different job is rebuilding something they could have saved if they had a defense. It's wild, mate. And again, if you lose anything here, for instance, anything in this area, this is what you're banking on to win you the game. This deeper technology. And if I look on the south, and I don't want to take my eyes too far off this, because again, these bugs are a mixture of mediums, bigs, and smalls. Yeah, you know, just imagine another wave or two like this crashes into your base. They're taking a pounding, mate. They're taking a pounding, and when the bugs arrive, like they are here, for instance, and they will do in many other areas, they will struggle to defeat this. They will struggle to beat this up. And it's not a problem losing this. It sucks, but it's not a problem. But losing your main base, your smelting, and effectively your silo going down is game over. 29 games into a tournament, you're one game away from a grand final, and there are bugs in the middle of your base, destroying everything. This is not the picture that you envisioned going into this game happening to you and your team. The kind of way that you envisioned the win in your mind's eye does not look like this. And we have all seen, anybody that's watched this game mode a couple of times over will know that this is not necessarily a losing picture, but this is certainly not the picture of a team that is in control or controlling the narrative and the flow of the game. So you are basically absorbing the pressure. You're not giving out anything. You're just having to absorb it all. And again, 600 flasks go from the south to the north. It's not going to do a huge amount now. I think military science has kind of run its course. They've sent almost 5,000, to be fair to them, so they've done a good job, you know. Whoever was told to go and build up, you know, military science has done a good job, and they've managed to push the North to almost breaking point. You know, here we go, more waves just crashing in. Old iron smelting that got taken out like 5 minutes ago is yet to be rebuilt. And the bugs are too quick for you now. They will run you down, and here we are. The silo is within touching distance of these bugs. Now, again, they are agile, the North. They are moving, and they are kiting, and they're maneuvering around the bugs. They're also dying to the bugs as well. And again, when it's this close, and this is like red alert, the alarm bells are ringing, you need to be as agile as possible, right? So you need to respawn, just get back to your body, go and find a grenade box, go and find something, physically get in their way. Like, have them attack you, rather than the base and the buildings that you have around them. Oh, damn, here we go. This is a power block, isn't it? This is a power block. And I tell you what, boys and girls and people of the internet, if this power block goes down, it's just another cascading error. There's nothing out here defending this. There's no body out here defending this. And it's a tacit agreement that you enter into when you build things away from main base, that it is vulnerable, but you can kind of warn away from this. You can ward away from this happening simply by putting some radars down, or by bringing somebody like Just Bob out here to defend. What an absolute legend, by the way. We have seen this guy bounce from the furthest areas of the map, left and right, all the way up to the very top in north. The bugs continue to appear and need to be dealt with, and Just Bob somehow, like Batman, you know, with the Batmobile, just arrives. Bob Man. Bob Man. Don't copyright strike me, please. Is it Warner Brothers? Disney? Come on, man. I thought Mickey Mouse was cool. Please don't strike me. Anyway, beyond that, the YouTube gods. The algorithm might do me for that one, but I don't mind. Quaz? Thank you for the follow, mate. Apologies if I just butchered your username. I do apologise. Welcome in. I hope you're having a good day, mate. We're on for a really spicy game. You're joining us at a point where we're watching something. Imagine a balloon popping in slow motion. You know? The balloon is filled with screams, and you know, in slow motion, it's the surface of the balloon has just been popped, and the first is being let out of the balloon, right? The first scream of pain is being released. The North are in that motion right now. They're in that position, and as we can see here, just everywhere we look, the bugs are having their way with the map. Now, again, you haven't lost yet. The only way you lose the game, the only way you can lose this game, is if your rocket silo succumbs to the bugs and explodes. That's the only way you lose. So everything else can set on fire, everything else can be destroyed. But if you keep that silo alive, you have a chance to stay in the fight and win the game. However, it's not looking pretty. And, you know, they do have some gallant defense. You've got to give credit to them. You know, the Northern guys are doing as much as they can to ward away from this, to stop this from happening. However, it's a struggle. And we talked about Goblin. Here we go, boys. Look, this is all I'm saying, right? And again, follow me with my logic on this one. Oh, damn, another death. Okay, it's far away from main base, so I've got a second to quickly talk about this. If I'm on the North, I needed somebody to go and make this play early on. I would have asked somebody on my team to be a Goblin. Come over to a part of the map that we're not using, grab some resources we're not going to tap into, build a bit of power, build a bit of smelting, and just make something you can throw. Again, like some of that stuff that Densky's thrown isn't massively impactful now, but in the early game, in the opening, like 1,400 jugs of red signs only changes the dial by like 0.4%, but here's what it does do. It adds an extra 200 bugs onto the pitch. So he's not changing the dial in terms of strength of bugs, but he is adding to their number. And an extra 200 of these guys is 200 more than they want to be dealing with. So he's having an impact on his own, out in his little goblin base. Now, this is already kind of run out of time. You can't really do this anymore because none of these sciences really have an impact. But he's still having some say in the way that the map is developing in terms of aggression. And it's important. You know, you need to... So I say this often, and I probably need to do like a bit of a lecture. Maybe I'll do like a lecture series over the next coming kind of days, weeks and months. But gaining an advantage, how do you do it? And what do you do when you have one? So it's all well and good saying the South are winning the game, but what did they do to get here? And once they're here, what are they doing to maintain it? And how are they increasing their advantage, right? So it's like being in a boxing match again. You've knocked your opponent down, right? They're not out the fight, but you've knocked them down. So you've shown that you have the power to do a job and to win the fight. So what do you do next? You can't just throw a million punches and expect to win, right? You need to systematically and tactically break down your opponent in such a way where they have no chance of winning. You know, you've caught them once, you're going to catch them again, and that next time you catch them is going to be a kill shot. It's going to be GG, you've knocked them out, you've won the game, and you're into a grand final. And again, guys, we host on average, four tournaments, team tournaments a year. So winning the first tournament of the year is a big deal. You know, it's bragging rights for at least 4 or 5 months, if not an entire 12 until the next tournament comes around. So, you know, every single person here is fighting for their collective lives so that they are not part of the inside joke that is the losing team. Again, it's all said with a bit of fun. We don't actively bully people or pursue people because they've played badly or because they've lost. There's just, you know, it's bragging rights. You know, this is competitive Factorio. Believe it or not, this is one of the most competitive things you can find on the internet. To be good at this game is tough. To be a legend at the game like I am, it's near impossible. You need to bring a precision, surgical level of precision to the way that you play the game, the way that you organize your team, the way that you pick and play the game, the way that you organize the way that your map is. It's so hard, dude. To win a game like this, it's like war planning. It's like war planning. It literally is like having an army unit of different segments and different sections and different skill levels, and you are on the fly organizing a fight. That is what peak performance looks like. Honestly, it's hard to explain. Many of you have played in these games and you know what I mean. A win in this game mode is special. It's special because you don't win unless every single person does their job as best they can. Now, that doesn't mean that Joshua needs to play like Michael Jordan every single time he takes the field, every time he plays the game. But if Joshua slips once in an hour of playing, 2 hours of playing, 3 hours of playing, if he just dips by 10% efficiency, 15% efficiency, his whole team feel that pain. If Carl is slow by a 30-second margin, yesterday's game was decided by 30 seconds, by the way. I watched the video back. There's literally, the game has gone on for 2 hours, and there is a 30-second gap between the winning team and the team that loses. And that is wild. So if Carl is slow by 5 seconds, if he places 10 of these buildings incorrectly, if he's missing 7 or 8 inserters, and this build doesn't happen perfectly at the right time, the team's done. They're banking on this, by the way. This is their winning idea. You know, the South have gone all in on spam. They've decided that they've gone for spam, and here we go. They're building lasers because they're assuming that they're going to have to absorb some pain later on. But they are not going too deep. They're not going towards purple. In fact, look, this is their yellow build. Look how far behind it is compared to north. They went really deep in with military signs in the hope that they can just eviscerate the north off the map. And do you know what, mate? Evisceration is the name of the game today. The north have been feeling the pain. They have died a lot. They've had to make and react to issues on the map and make plays they normally wouldn't have to make. They're having to maneuver people into positions which they don't want to put them there. You know, you don't want your best base builder or defender out here doing oil because your oil just got smashed. But if you don't do it, you're not going to have oil, so go and do that job, right? Like, and you can't take a lot of time thinking about it, right? We're talking about this casually, but you're thinking at speed and problem solving at speed. And by the way, guys, not everybody here on your Discord call speaks English. So good luck with that as well, because you might need to translate part of what you're saying into Ukrainian, part of what you're saying into German. You might have some Americans on the team that don't even speak English, and you have to translate to them as well. Like, it's tough, man. You know, this is genuinely one of the hardest things you can do in video gaming. So winning a tournament, or even winning a single game of it, special. It really is. And you remember the people that you play with. I've made, I would say, probably lifelong friends with some of the people that I've played this game with, because when it goes wrong and you all have to solve a problem, it is literally fighting for your own survival. So yeah, the grand final is going to be great. And I look forward to what we see from that grand final. I don't know if we're doing a best of 3. I don't know what the format is for that final game of the tournament, but it might just be a one-shot, one and done. We roll the map, we roll the difficulty, and then we roll the players into teams, and it is good luck. One of these captains will make the grand final, by the way, either Arctic or Pipes. One of these two will make the grand final, and for another captain, they got tantalizingly 1 game away from getting into a grand final, from claiming it all, from being almost as legendary as me. You know, if the pinnacle of Biter Battles is my playstyle, how I won and my winning streak, these people are trying to attain that. And it's not easy, guys. I know I make it look easy. I know I'm a humble legend, obviously. And, you know, my skill it's almost unfathomable. Like, the first time I streamed of me playing the game, everything crashed. my computer couldn't handle it. You know, it was almost like giving away top secret information. I've since learned how to slow myself down and kind of show off some of the skills I bring to the table. But yeah, being a winning captain, it's kind of good. It's kind of bragging rights, right? And again, I speak like it's winning an Olympic gold. It's not. But within our community, you know, within the fact, if you talk to people that know Factorio and they know biter battles and you say that you are a winning captain, they kind of know what you're talking about. You know, they're speaking your language. It's not an easy thing. It's certainly not an easy thing, so. Anyway, I digress. Talking about one beating to another, does anybody watch the end of the Wales game? Can anybody tell me the score of the Wales-France game? Oh, damn. It was, yeah, 50-odd to 12. Oh, I mean, 12, is that... Are we happy with that? I don't know. It's better than nothing, isn't it, I guess? Damn, though, like, that's such a wounder, mate. Wales don't deserve to have 50 points put on them. What is this? What are we doing down here? Guys, the South are, just bear in mind as well, we're talking about the North being in pain, but the South have got time to fuck about. This might come back and bite you. I'm not going to lie, this may come back and bite the South in the arse. This individual isn't playing badly, but should really be threat farming. 54, oh no, yeah. What's that, like 7 to 10 tries if they've got the conversions, maybe not, or like a lot of penalties and like 7 tries. Oh god, though, that's a beating. That's a paddling. Okay, well, mate, Wales got paddled. They're going to get paddled this tournament, unfortunately. It's just a shame. It really is. And yeah, let's just take a look, guys. 63% on the North. We'll take a look at research real quick, and then we'll round out the game. The North are looking at laser research. The South are looking to research yellow, which the North already have. And what really surprises me is how much exclusive research the North actually do have. They've been under the pump for almost all of the game, and they've managed to just, with complete impunity... It's begun. How the turntables have turned. At the 1 hour and 5 minute mark, the North, whilst in the opening 15 minutes nearly lost the game to a rogue wave, have managed to grab hold of the steering wheel, have managed to pump the brakes, take their vehicle out of a tailspin, and they are close. Again, they haven't done anything yet, but they are close to gaining control of this game. And I believe that the South, they might be in for a rude and painful surprise. Arctic may have just pulled an absolute blinder here. And again, it's not a lot of yellow, and we did the maths earlier. In fact, let's do the maths now. Let's just send, I don't know, 100 yellow jugs to the South. What does that do? What does that change? 30% increase, or 34% increase in bugs. 100 yellow jugs. You could send that now. Let's take that to a larger conclusion. Let's send 500. You know, we spend 10 minutes boxing up some science. They go to 70%. Oh damn. Now, if the South go to 70%, and I'm sure that's not what the North's plan will be. The North's plan will be to get them to behemoth. So, like 1,000 jugs should do. But, like, they're not ready for it. They're not ready at all. Like, they have some laser production. That's fine. Do they have the power to even turn those lasers on? I doubt it. I mean, they've done a good job in carving back the bugs, so they have done a good job in that respect. But again, the bugs are easy enough to kill. Like, you shouldn't have problems. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but you shouldn't be losing people on the South. You're losing people to laziness. You know, somebody that's just not avoiding the puddles. Yeah, 12 is enough. You know, I think 12 is a respectable amount. The only thing that Wales can win this tournament is the fans back. And I think that, you know, from what I've heard, oh, I'd love to see it. Sorry, I'm just going to, monkey brain, just watch this happen as I speak about Wales. I think their team and their players are well loved. Their management and the people involved in the physical playing of the game are well loved. I think the WRU have fucked them generationally, and they were going to take about 5 years to rebuild, which is a real shame. Okay, good question. Inappropriate, good question. So, power won't be a problem right now. However, if the North send to the South, and the South end up with a positive, I don't know, let's say 50,000 bugs. 50,000 bugs at 90%. Even if they put down massive laser blocks, if all of the lasers turn on all at once, it will push their power infrastructure too far. And again, what you have to remember is, once that send happens and the bugs become very strong, they never go backwards in their strength. So your power needs to be there before you need to use it. So I would argue that, for instance, a couple of these, power blocks, across the border down here, for instance. So you could put like a power block here using this coal. Hang on, I saw one other one as well out here. I think there was like a coal patch over here. Here we go. Yeah, so like this. You can kind of expand on this, because I think that the easiest way to kind of explain it is that I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So you always want to have like a buffered power setup. And arguably for the longer games, you can kind of like rely on nuclear power if you can get there. And you are correct, no imported blueprints. There's nothing wrong with blueprints in Factorio. I think they can make people lazy. It's just my opinion though, that's not the wider Biter Battle's opinion. But I think that blueprints can make people lazy. It's fine for like mega bases and stuff. If you need lots of stuff, you can just slap something down. But everything that you see here, from like this build to this build and all of this, you have to make it in the game. And game to game, the blueprints delete themselves. So you have to be able to build something there and then very quickly, which again is a testament to people's speed and skill. And with that being said, I believe the North have stabilized. They're into minus 4,000 now, almost minus 5,000. They have lasers down and a relatively thick wall. Again, you can bring bugs to this area and create like a kill zone. So what I really like about this, is two things. Thing number one, you can go up, get some bugs, and bring them back. Effectively run them down the front of the wall, and the wall will basically shoot a load of damage out over some bugs. So if you get a mega send to you now on the north, then this particular area here is exactly where you want to be, or just to the edges of that. So you want to be, if I'm threat farming in the north, I'm going out this way, I'm bouncing out away from the area, I'm grabbing some bugs and I'm dragging them back in, and I'm doing a loop like that. So effectively it's out, find the bugs, bring them back, and then drag them across the face of the laser, where here is where they take all their damage. And you can save on those poison capsules for later, stockpile them up effectively. So I like what I see here. Even if you're not defending massively, like that wall is enough for now. It won't be enough for the end of the game, but for now, that makes me comfortable, knowing that that's there. Good question, Rubish. Oh my god, I can't get my words out. Rabashko. Like Tabasco, but you're rhubarb based. The way that the server is set up is, I think it's basically impossible to import blueprints. Like, I think that something is disabled in the code of the game itself that stops you from bringing blueprints in. The only exploit that we've ever had was we had a Russian player come in with like an auto macro toggler. So it was the weirdest thing to see. In fact, there's a GIF of it in our Discord, actually. I'll dig it out. I might post it later tonight, actually, because it was wild. Like, he had a macro created that would auto-place and auto-rotate, which is really niche, by the way. I mean, super niche, but like, so if you're creating, let's use this for an example, right? So, this smelting line. So, you stick all your furnaces down. He would have a macro where you could just move your mouse around and it would naturally rotate these inserters to the perfect rotation. And he would toggle it. And obviously you can't have tools that help you. Like, if you're quick, be quick. But if you're not quick, then you're as slow as fast as you are. I know I'm not making a lot of sense there, but you are the speed at which you are. Having a tool that assists you doesn't make you better at the game. It doesn't really reward you either. Like, and also, people also know. Yeah, I know they've updated it in 2.0. This was about 2 years ago. And his excuse was, and again I'm paraphrasing here, but the reason he gave for using a macro was because his ping was so high. He was playing on like 200 ms. So his argument was he was lagging, so he needed that to make him quicker. And my argument is Enkling. He's playing in the Philippines. We have players that connect from Australia. Like, nobody is on, unless you're in France and you live next door to the server. By the time the game gets to 1.5 hours in, we are all lagging. You could have like an MIT level super quantum computer. When the game goes to 2 hours long and somebody is fighting 200% bugs, everybody lags. It's not a good enough excuse. Unfortunately, that is a bannable offense. We don't really get a lot of cheaters, though. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct, Abascotti. That's probably a better... you've summed it up much better than I have. I've kind of talked over the problem or overworked the problem. It was an auto-assist. That's the right way to phrase it. They had an auto-assist. And what it does is, it undermines the credibility of people like Derek. Derek McIntyre, who is stupid fast. You know, it undermines people that are just... who's it that's got the Hogan hook? Is that the right way of me saying it? There's a Hogan hook. Somebody that has some incredible... Is it Zasper? Who is like mental fast. Like, and I mean like seriously like machine gun quick. Like there's a reason why these guys have the speed running records, and it's through just skill. Mechanical input and skill. Yes, Clyde. I think it is. I think the only people that have it enabled, the import string, is admins, and senior admins at that. So I believe Neuro can, and I believe that people can set the game state up in certain ways that require strings. So, you know, kind of like editing as and when we go. I might be wrong in that. It's been a while since I've set a game up, but I believe that you need to be a senior admin in the game. And you know what? I haven't even checked. Am I an admin still? I don't know if I'm still... Hey, I'm still an admin. Look at me go. Oh, I didn't know that. I was admin. I was an admin for a while. Washed plays shouldn't be... How dare you? How dare you say something so controversial and so true? I am washed. I am so washed at this game, dude. I speak fondly about my dominance in the server because if I'm being honest, guys, and nobody clip this because I'm sure, you know, my words will come back to haunt me, but I don't think my playstyle would work in the modern game. I think my dominance was very much based off the back of me understanding how the pattern of that game was played and winning off the back of understanding how the game was played at that moment. So that meta doesn't exist anymore. I don't think I'd be as strong as a player. Although, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, oh damn, Abraham goes down. F in chat, guys. Who's to say I wouldn't be? Maybe, potentially, I'd be even stronger now than I was back then. And Karl, oh, sehr gut, Karl. 1524. I don't know what the word for yellow in German is. Jugs. I don't even know what the word for jug is in German. They've done it, boys. The North. With an enormous, an aggressive amount of yellow signs. Throws itself onto the other side. The only send the North have made is at 76 minutes in. Karl takes 1,524 jugs and just throws them at the South. Have that, my friend. Gelber Krug. Yeah, 1,524 Gelber Krug. Throws themselves over to the South, and they are not ready for this. We spoke a little bit about this, and this has been one hell of a game. I mean, for a semi-final, I don't think we could have had much more drama. The North get pumped almost to death, and they survive. And here now, with the umlaut. Okay, I get you. Yeah. Krug. They have yellow, but they haven't built it. And now they're dealing with, firstly, a positive threat. Secondly, 95% means behemoths for sure. They're just starting to build and produce yellow, so they have a chance to counterpunch. But I just don't think they're ready for this. Now, they have lasers again, but I don't... Like, the South, again, they've spent all the game not really under pressure. So now it's on the South to defend hard, man. Like, they can lose it all right now very fast. The South they have laser production, yes. And I'm sure that they have somebody running over here right now to place lasers down. But as we can see, the largest version of the bugs are on the map. They can get stronger from here. 90% is when they evolve to behemoth status. But, like, they can get bigger and stronger. So, like I said before, this wave isn't the problem. There's going to be like 4 or 5 waves behind them that will be absolutely the problem. So, however deep this gets, and however fast you can solve this problem, again, here we have some bosses now, tearing through the mix patch, getting ever closer to the silo on the South. And the momentum has shifted. The turntables have turned. And the South now have to put out an enormous amount of fires. If anything, maybe, just maybe, this is enough to win the North the game. Because it's not this wave that's the problem again. There'll be waves crashing all around. Here we go. Tearing up iron patches. And the lasers have some, yeah, they have some. And they have power for it too. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you can rebound bugs off the back of this. Like, it's not ideal. You'll lose some lasers. It's an expensive loss, you know, losing 10 to 15 lasers. But yeah, I wonder what the counterpunch is here. Because the south can send to the north as well. In fact, let's look at production stats real quick. So at the 1 hour and 5 minute mark, the north made their yellow. At the 1 hour and 12, so only about 7 minutes after the fact, made their first yellow. They've made 800 jugs. They've yet to send any. So the south have yellow on their hands. They haven't sent it yet. And I worry that, what is this? Why do we have wiggly lines? Like, why are we wiggling lines down here? Okay, that happened fast. So this is the silo that you need to keep alive. This is where all your threat farmers currently are, and this is a wave of bugs that can absolutely end the game. Lasers go down. The bugs will explode. I mean, they're strong enough, you know. And as we can see, Carl just keeps sending to the south. 102.6% strength bugs, 24,000 of them on the map, and there are a few too many close to the silo. The silo goes down, guys. It's the end of Pipe's run, and Arctic will move forward. I think 800 probably do it, right? I think 800, we'll do the maths. We'll definitely do the maths for sure. I'm just trying to see if there's any waves of bugs that have made it right out to the edges. Yeah, let's do the maths real quick. So 800 yellow jugs go to the north. That puts them to 87%, so just off. Just 3% shy. So let's say 900 has to do the trick, right? 900 has to be the... 900 does not do the trick, okay? Well, Pipe sends 900. We're at 89.6%. 0.4% off. We're now... Oh, there we go. We finally got over the line. I was going to say, I was like, can somebody send something? All right. Here we have it. The north are at 92.3%. The south, 105.2%. We have packs of bugs being kited to the far east. To the south, it seems as though they've managed to... No, they haven't juggled. No, that's a sad sight to see. A squash car and a squash player. Both sides now are under huge amounts of pressure to defend, and this ultimately signals and signifies the ending of the game. One team will crumble, whilst another team struggles to survive. The north, however, I like this. It's a bit late, but you need to have it happen anyway. A wall goes down and some lasers go in behind it, so I'd rather have it happen at some point, and here we go. This is how defense should happen. A cheap wall which is easy to replace, buffers the bugs away from our defenses, and our defenses are recessed back behind the wall, so to kill the bugs if they reach here. This is a nice little spot. Now, again, the bugs are everywhere. They'll come all over the map, so you need this to happen further across to the west as well. Oh, here we go. So a wall is being built. Okay, I like this. I like this. Meanwhile, on the south... Oh, dear. That's power. That's a big power block as well. Okay, power's still green for now, but these behemoths will absolutely turn this thing upside down. And once they're done with this, they absolutely will filter through across the way towards the main base area. And there's not much space between here and the silo. Coming in clutch Dark Nade with the slowdown capsules. Do we have any poison to drop on top of them? We have lasers. Okay, perfect. So, not ideal, losing all of this power, and some of the bugs are still going at it, but they've managed to catch this wave. Now, that wave is stupidly close. And here we go, like all hands to the pump now. Pipes is just slapping down walls. If the question is, are we under threat? The answer is walls. Just everywhere. Just slap them down. Like turtle up, basically. The south are in for a world of pain. And I wonder, let's check in. How many lasers have they lost? The south have lost only 23 lasers so far. They've only built 500. Interesting. So they've placed half of their lasers. And Carl continues to send a lot of yellow. So the South's Evo is jumping too. You know, we're now at 110%. 42,000 threat. Pipe sends over almost 300 yellow jugs, so the North climbs to 97.5. The North, I believe, are positioned well to defend that though. Although, to be fair, the South have got some very good threat farmers. This is what you want to see. You know, you don't want these packs broken up, flooding through the map. Kojito threading the needle here. You know, there's about 4 or 5 packs worth of bugs here. There's a lot of threat that he's gambling with behind his car. And as long as he is frame perfect and can drive this in correctly and not bump into anything or take any damage, Kojito is really saving his team a lot of pain right now. Meanwhile, as we scan down the map, bugs and packs of bugs are making their way through. I just don't see a way. I don't see a world where... I mean, the South have to just turtle up, right? They just turtle and hope that the North maybe just succumb to like a sideswipe. Potentially like a bug wave that just makes its way through here. I think he's doing everything. Like, at the moment, do you remember we talked about that balloon slowly popping and letting a scream out? I'm not going to lie, guys. Like, when you're threat farming like this, the adrenaline is going. Like, I don't want to speak for Kajito, but maybe he can comment afterwards. And when you have this many bugs behind you, a single misinput, and I mean that, a single misinput, a little bit of lag, you know, like a little bit of server lag, for instance, you're dead. And all of these bugs are coming down the map. It's so hard to do. Like, he's throwing everything in his inventory that he has available to him. It wouldn't surprise me if he's throwing fish. And here we go. Waves are starting to proliferate now. They're making their way down the pitch. They're making their way down the map towards the south, towards the rocket silo. And they're everywhere. The good news is the south are managing to jump on this and squash the problems as fast as possible. Meanwhile, in the north, the wall hasn't been overly tested yet. And I'll quickly check in. Oh my god, I've been there before, mate. Somebody with a computer that's trying to like rejoin the map, and you have that second of pause, you know, where like somebody joins. And, oh my, I hate it, mate. It genuinely, that grinds my gears. That grinds my gears to no end. Yeah. So the north and the south, it's laser research now. I don't think we're going anywhere near a rocket, and these pods are great. Power's looking healthy enough. Lots of deaths, guys. Holy crap! Everywhere. It's just chaos everywhere. And for a semi-final game, I'm glad we went the distance. I'm glad we got here. I was worried at one point that basically the North would just not... Thanks, mate. I'll do the same. It's incessant. The bugs are here. They're here to stay. I say this every week, guys. It's their land. We're just living on it for now, you know? Like, they'll reclaim it at some point, and reclaim it soon, I think. The South are just putting out fires at the moment. There's not a ton that you can really do other than kite the bugs around and just try and pick them off, right? But unfortunately, to that end, the bugs will make it past you. So you need a wide net of people. You know, you need a lot of individuals working on securing your win here, or at least staving off the pressure. And just like that, this close to main. Power on south, let's take a look. Green for now. I mean, I don't see a ton of lasers being put down. Like, you'd want blocks and blocks of lasers down. At the moment, I feel like people are like going to an area where there's a problem and just slapping down like 10 lasers. It's not enough. It's certainly not enough. And they had time to prep for this. Now, do you remember where I was talking earlier on about somebody who was, they were drawing like a box around the base with walls? Like, you could have used that time to build laser pods, man. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that was like a dick thing to do, but you had a window where you weren't in this position, and instead building like some pretty artwork around the bug base. You might have wished you spent that time a little better. You will be obliterated, and mate, resistance is futile. You know? And here we go. The bugs are just meandering through. I'm getting a little bit of lag here, unfortunately. Nothing too bad, though. In fact, here, let me minimize the lag real quick. I'm just going to turn chat off. And I'm just going to disable my preview. Okay, that should give me an extra couple of frames. Naturally, the server slows down when bugs kind of make it in. And here we are. That is one big, nasty pack of bugs. And there isn't going to be a huge amount to stop them now. We do have some lasers in main, and this will put up some resistance. And I will check in on north as well, but I don't believe they have the same kind of pressure applying to their base. Their walls are under threat, but they do have a laser build down. As we can see here, this is what a traditional build would do in terms of defense. You have a set of lasers behind a set of walls. The bugs can't really hit... Well, here they can. That's not amazingly spaced. But you can see this is what a traditional defense would do. It's a very costly mistake to make, having lasers go down like this. But again, what this means is it stops the bugs from getting anywhere near you, anywhere near your base. Unlike this, where the bugs are, they're just cruising in, you know? They're just pulling up, having a good time, you know? Chewing on some core belts, ripping up a couple of miners, getting a bit of a suntan. The laser upgrades they're okay, and this will be testing their power, surely. No, power's fine for now. But again, the waves keep coming. Another wave just behind the last one. Boss is on top too. And you kind of wonder what they're losing in the background as well. Here we go. Yeah. It's very, if you weren't emotionally attached to the game, this is actually very ASMR like to watch and to listen to in game. I don't have the sound on because you'd be hearing a ton of alerts, but there's something really, I don't know, monkey brain about watching the bugs just tear through a base. You hate to be on that side of a losing team, but yeah, story of the game, dude. The North weathered the storm. They did, mate. They really did. The military rush, it was almost like unfazed. They completely unfazed by the pressure that was put on them, just carried on. You know, everything was on fire and they went, no you. You know, and they did an incredible good job. So, you know, although one team will lose and it looks to be the South, it's not as if the South played badly. They did what they needed to do to get the win that they thought would work for them, and it almost did work, by the way. You know, the way that they thought they could organize the game to get a win, it was almost there. But I think they just got slightly outplayed in the mid to end game. And I just wonder, had this... And again, it's lots of ifs, buts, and maybes. I'm sure the grand final will see some counterplay as well. But I just wish the North had done a little bit of science gobbling. You know, like a little base like this that just pumped out a little bit of science. But, you know, I might have a very passionate German talk to me later about how it's not efficient in Discord to do such things, to debase ourselves by throwing such lowly and small signs. And I'm not going to tell you their name, but it rhymes with Jarl. But you know, I like talking about the game. You know, I do. So if any of you guys want to talk about analysis or breakdowns, like for the grand final, by the way, guys, and I'll say this now because it looks like we're closing in on the end of this game. For the grand final, I will be doing a post-mortem. So there'll be the game, we'll watch it, hopefully a lot of you guys play in it, we'll see one person be crowned the winner, we're going to interview hopefully both the winning and the losing captains. Obviously it all depends about emotions. Sometimes I totally understand if you've lost a game and you know it's the last game of a tournament that you don't want to talk, I get that, but I'd like to see if I can even just get a short interview about what the game plan was. And then what I'd like to do is do some breakdowns. So I want to load back into the save. I know I'm going to ask somebody to snapshot save the game multiple times throughout the grand final, and then we can go through a 20-minute segmented breakdown of how the game went. So yeah, how would I recommend? Well, welcome firstly, Improved. How would you recommend strats in smaller games with 1 to 4 people per side? Great question. I would certainly prioritize research. The thing that will set you apart in the smaller man games, you know, the lesser peopled games, maybe something that's like kind of an easier game mode difficulty as well, like I'm Too Young to Die or Have a Nice Day. Prioritize getting your research very, very fast, because what that does is it gives you options. The last thing you want to do is need to solve a problem that requires a certain tool, and you have to wait 5 minutes whilst your base is on fire for you to research the ability to have that tool. So I would aim for a smaller sided game. Get to green science as fast as possible, and certainly, and most people don't. The grenade research is 100% where you need to be aiming. Get that grenade research early. I would also look to make walls. Definitely make walls. If your team has 4 people and their team has 4 people, you don't have a lot of people to spare when it comes to defense, so you need the walls to kind of pick up the slack. So at the beginning of a game, find your stone patch and do put some of it. You don't need to have all of it, but put some of it into wall production. If you start in minute 1 or minute 0 with wall production, by the 30-minute mark or the 40-minute mark, when the enemies start throwing science at you, you'll have a couple of thousand walls. You can just build your castle. And with a 4-person team, you know, you don't need to build massive. So that would be my advice for a small, you know, sided games. Any more than that, you can start diversifying who does what. I wouldn't necessarily go into threat farming unless you have one friend. So let's say you play with like 3 other people and you're all friends. I would say to one of them, like, if you want to threat farm, go and do it, but you might literally be doing that on your own for the whole game. So you don't want to pigeonhole somebody into doing one thing if they can do other things, is what I'm saying. So, but if you do have that one friend that just wants to blow stuff up, yeah, do it, dude. It's so useful. Threat farming is underrated, and if you want to win those midweek games, and I might, do you know what a great idea for a series. Sorry, mate, you've got my single brain cell working at the moment. I need to teach people how to pub stomp. So it's all fine and good winning these games, right? And I've won many of these games. In fact, I had an 8-month unbeaten streak. Nobody's done that. Nobody's yet to even come close to that, right? But I haven't taught you guys how to pub stomp yet, have I? That's something that we all should know how to do. Oh, what a great... I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a video series about how to win pub games. Without cheesing, by the way. I'm not talking about winning by, playing toxically, or... I'm talking about, I load into a game, it's 8 on 8, right? Or it's 7 on 7. We're an hour into the game. How do you win from that position? Like you load into the game and it's already on. What can you do? Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I know it's your first time chatting, mate, but you've really helped me out there, because I've been thinking about doing a video series for a while now, and I've done a short documentary on my history of playing the game. So it talks about my winning streak, my dominance in the game, the years, the near decade I spent at the very top, and how I maintained rank 1 for so long, and also how humble I was. It's only a short documentary because I had to include all of my achievements. It's about 7 or 8 hours long, and I thought after that I need to come up with another video series to do, and I genuinely think there's a lot of stuff I think I can probably teach. And what I might do is stacking. No, absolutely not. No stacking is allowed. There are 6 horsemen of the Biter Battles apocalypse, and stacking is certainly one of the most prominent horsemen of griefing a game. Stacking, stalling, packing, botting, gridding. Oh, gridding, no way, not a chance. And belting. Yeah, no red belts, no repair packs. No stacking, no stalling, no stealing. Don't steal. Remember, guys, don't take what you didn't make. So no stealing the green chips, red chips, and blue chips. And I know I'm throwing out a lot of in-jokes here, but I'll go through all that. But side note, yeah, let's do I think I need to do a series. Oh my God, look at the state of this. We're going down in an earlier round, and Sugar, we're going down swinging. Whatever happened to Fall Out Boy, by the way? Did they just stop? Did they be like, okay, emo's done. We don't exist anymore. Sorry, weird thing to come up with at the end of a game. The Fall Out Boy still tour? I swear there was a point where they were everywhere, and now they're like nowhere. Are they still making music? Or did they move on as the emo trend thing moved on? Like, I might be showing my age here a little bit. If anybody can answer that question, please get back to me in the comments. I'm genuinely worried about where Fall Out Boy went. I don't think they were covered in controversy, right? I don't think like people got arrested or, done for human trafficking or anything like that. So, we'll talk a bit more about that after the game. Here we have the Southern Silo, surrounded almost entirely by behemoths. Out of power, out of luck, out of time, the Silo is almost out of health. And 3, 2, 1, an explosion becomes us. We are become death. GG's to all involved. The Northern Captain has made it to a grand final. 29 games have been played. All 29 games have been completed. We have 1 game left on our hands, and it is the grand final. Oh, I'm so hyped. I'm so looking forward to this. What a great game, by the way. Commiserations to the South. Congratulations to the North. Remember, guys, we're all here to have fun. So please don't, we take the piss out of what's going on and who's making mistakes and stuff, but everybody playing here is highly skilled. Thank you, Improved, for the idea. I definitely have, you've spun up my brain cell there. I'm going to make a video series on pub stomping. That has to happen. I'm gonna go and get some food, and then I'm gonna stream again. So for anybody out there that thinks they want to stick around, that'd be great. I want to kind of, for anybody watching as well that's currently playing Factorio with me in the Mega Base, I have set up a Discord server that is separate to Biter Battles. And what we'll do is we'll get everybody that's playing the different runs we're doing. And if anybody wants to play, by the way, feel free to message me or ping me a message. I'm gonna do like Warptorio, Crastorio, Pianodons. We're gonna do like everything Factorio based. From vanilla all the way through to the sweatiest of nerdiest mods. We're going to play through all of that stuff between now and the end of summer. So that's my plan moving forward. And if you want to be part of that, I'm setting up a Discord server to get everybody in, and then we can share the schedule and who's online and what we're doing, etc. So there's just one place where all of that's going to take place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get some food. I'm going to come back online, and then I'll send that Discord server out to anybody who wants it. It's not going to be super busy, but we can post ideas and post builds in there, and maybe we can organize some Biter Battle stuff in there, Potentially, we could organize a super secret... I know where the locos are going to live. Ghosties Locos will find a home on the new server.